Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Here we are on the final chapter of Standard 6 Geography, that is 10th chapter, Human Occupation. Here you can see people doing different occupations, representing their occupation, dressed in their uniforms are shown here. Now may I ask you, what does occupation means? Or if I put the question to you, what do your parents do to earn their livelihood? Some of you will say that my father is a doctor. One will say my mother is a teacher. Other might say that my mother works in a dispensary. Other will say my father is a shopkeeper. One of you will say my father is a businessman, and so on. So, any activity which is done by a person to earn his or her livelihood, or the job or the work or a business that a person is engaged into, is called his or her occupation. Is that clear? Have you understood the meaning of the word occupation? So it is any activity which is done by the human beings to earn their livelihood. Now, there are certain pictures in your textbook. They are numbered as A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, figure 10.1 of your textbook show series of picture. In fact, you can see the arrows in this picture. So it's a sort of a flow chart. Let us see each of the picture. First one, you can see a man with certain cattle. The cattle are grazing in this picture. Okay, the next picture shows you a lady milking the cow. Now milking means removing the milk from cow. Okay, so this activity is called milking. Here is the milk collection center where the persons bring their milk and it is collected here. So it's a milk collection center. The milk is being transported in a special container, in a special vehicle. So milk is being transported here. In this figure E, you can see this is the processing center where a person, a lady there is doing certain testing on that milk which is brought from the collection center, and the milk is converted into milk products. Now what are these milk products? We will be seeing soon. And finally the milk is sold. In figure F we can see the sale of milk and the milk product is taking place. Now there are certain questions regarding this figure 10.1. Answer the following question after observing the pictures in figure 10.1. Now, what are the cattle? What are the cows and buffalo in figure A doing? So, let us go once again back to figure A. Here is your figure A. Here. So, what are these animals doing? These animals are eating the grass. This activity is called as grazing. So, animals are grazed here. Okay. Next one. What is being obtained in figure B? This lady is milking the cow. So, what is obtained here? Milk is obtained in this. By doing this activity. What is happening at the milk collection center in figure C? In figure C, the milk which is brought, the extra milk which is left after feeding the family, is sold at this milk collection center. So at milk collection center, people will be bringing their household milk. In picture D, what is being transported? So of course milk is being transported. This special container contains milk. Milk is a perishable commodity, that is, it will not last for a longer time unless you take it into a special, you transport it by special container. You know students, when you bring milk to your home, when you have to keep it for some time, you have to boil the milk at regular interval, okay, or store it in the refrigerator. But then you cannot store for a longer time. So when this milk is transported, you have to see that the milk does not get spoiled. So this special container has some sort of refrigeration arrangement, some sort of arrangement to keep the milk cool. Okay, so during the transportation, the milk does not become spoiled. Now where could the tanker be going? The tanker could go directly to the center from where it is sold to the consumer, or it might be going to the processing center. So figure E shows you the processing center. Now which products are seen in figure E? Although it cannot be easily clearly seen, but in this center, in this processing center, in this figure E, you can see different products which are made from milk. I can see cheese here, I can see butter there, I can see maybe that is ghee or shrikhand which is kept into that bowl. Okay, those tins there might be containing dahi or buttermilk. Okay, so in this figure E, different products can be seen, and these are the milk products, products which are made after processing the milk. Okay, what else is happening in figure E? The milk is processed into its product, and also the testing of the milk to check the quality of the milk. Some sort of test is done on that milk, and you can determine the quality of the milk. So some sort of testing is being done in this figure, and also milk products are being manufactured in this milk processing center. Out of the products shown in figure F, which products do you use? Now students, you can answer this. I think most of you must be like must have eaten shrikhand, butter, cheese, paneer, okay, buttermilk, curd, ice creams, not to forget chocolates, of course you must be loving. So these are all the products which are made by processing the milk. So these are the milk products. Now, what could be the main difference between the milk and the milk product? Milk is bit cheaper as compared to the milk product. The milk is cheaper. Milk is the milk products are having a better taste, and they are durable as compared to the milk. That is, as compared to the milk product are tastier, they have enhanced their quality, and they are life, okay, shell life as we call it, or they have become little bit, their life has become a bit longer. They are no more perishable now. Okay, so by processing the milk, many changes occur in the milk, and the taste, the quality, the price also increases. Last question, do this product perish quickly like milk? So the answer is no. Some of the product might perish, but it will take a longer time as compared to milk to perish. That means their shelf life has increased. Okay, so finally this product are sold. Which are this product? You can see those products here. I can see cheese here, I can see butter here, I can see yogurt, buttermilk, kheer is also being shown in that bowl, in that container, having that ladle in it. Okay, so chocolates are seen here, ice cream is seen here, so different milk products are seen. So all this above pictures that we have seen, right from rearing of the domestic animals, obtaining the milk from them, selling the milk, processing the milk at the milk center, making ghee, butter, cheese, shrikhand, paneer, milk powder, etc. from the milk, and finally selling them in the market. All this work are carried out at different levels. Man undertakes this activity to satisfy his own needs. Now we can classify this activity on the basis of their nature and the product they yield. Once again, we will look at the pictures again and try to answer the questions. Now, which of this activity is undertaken to obtain a product from the nature? Once again, let us go back to the pictures where we are using the product from the nature, which is the activity here in figure A and B. Let us go to figure A and figure B. Okay, in figure A, can you see the activity is dependent on nature. Grass that the cow is or the buffalo is eating is obtained from nature. Milk that the woman is milking, getting from the cow. So the cow, the milk is a natural thing. So activity here depends upon the nature. Now which product is obtained through it? Here you are obtaining milk. How long does this product last? If you have boiled the milk once, the product will last for few hours. Let us say 4 to 5 hours, the milk will be in a good condition. Next question, in which picture is the product obtained from nature being collected? So product obtained from the nature is collected in figure A and B. Okay, and finally it is taken to the collection center. Which services did the milk producer get through this activity? The milk producer got the services of transportation, got the services of loading and unloading, and maybe the sale of their goods. So these are the services which are offered to the milk producers. Next one, where is the milk taken? The milk is taken maybe directly to be sold to the consumer from the shop, or it is taken to the processing center. What happens to the milk thereafter? Here it refers to what happens to the milk in the processing center. So in the processing center, the milk is converted into different milk products. What milk products are seen in the picture? You can see butter, cheese, Shrikhand, you can see curd, buttermilk, etc. in the picture there. Now, where is the milk? No, which question are we on? Who inspects this product? So a special expert person, maybe a food inspector, inspects this product. Okay, so that special person who is inspecting that product has got that extra knowledge. He is skilled in his work and he inspects the product and decides the quality of the product. What does the shopkeeper do with this product? He sells the product to the consumer. Okay, when we go to the shop to buy such thing, the shopkeeper will be giving you the product in exchange of money. Which of these products are perishable and which are not perishable? So here milk is a perishable commodity, but ghee is having a longer life. Ghee, you can keep the ghee for few months. Okay, so the milk is a perishable commodity. Maybe Shrikhand is a perishable commodity because you have to consume the Shrikhand within a day. But other products, maybe curd is a perishable commodity, but the other milk products have a longer life. They are comparatively less perishable. Will the price and the weight of the product be the same as that of the milk? The answer to this question is no. The milk products are costlier. When the processing is done on the milk, the price increases and the weight decreases. So, students, when you boil the milk, the water contained in it evaporates, so the weight decreases. Okay. Now, use your brain power. Milk is available at 40 rupees per liter, while dahi is available at 60 rupees per kg, paneer at 200 per kg. But if you go to buy Shrikhand, it is almost 300-400 rupees kg. Fine. So can you see? Although all these products are made from the milk, okay, but as the processing is done on them, the price increases, okay, and they become more tastier, that is their quality also increases and they become comparatively long lasting. Now, we carry out many activities to fulfill our needs. We have many occupations like industries, trades, etc. Now, some of these activities are directly depend upon nature, where we are making use of natural resources. So, means that the products obtained from this activity are obtained directly from nature. For example, in the figure A, cows and buffaloes were eating the grass which is obtained from nature. Milk that was obtained from the animal which is produced in nature, produced by the nature naturally. Okay, so we domesticate the animal, we get milk from them. So the occupation which directly depends on nature are called as primary occupation. Once again, all the occupation in which naturally occurring resources such as land, water, vegetation and minerals are directly used by man to fulfill his requirement, such occupations are called as primary occupation. So here there is a direct dependence on the nature. Example, agriculture. Example of primary occupation, agriculture, animal husbandry, hunting, fishing, mining, etc. Here, in agriculture, the soil is naturally made. It is made by natural process. The sunlight that is required by the plants for photosynthesis, the rainwater. So these are all the natural resources which is being directly utilized, and this occupation completely depends upon nature. So agriculture is a primary occupation. In animal husbandry, animals which, animals are not man-made, okay, they are naturally occurring, they are naturally made. So domesticating them, looking after them, this activity is known as animal husbandry, and animal husbandry is a primary occupation. Hunting, okay, hunting of the animals which are found in the jungles or in the forest. So these animals are available in the nature. So hunting is also a primary occupation. Fishing, fishes which are found in the seas, lakes, pond. Okay, man catches those fishes for his livelihood or maybe for commercial purpose, for selling purpose. So fishing is also a primary occupation. Even mining, minerals are naturally made. Students, we have seen in the chapter rocks and types of rocks. Minerals are made, of course it's a very long process, but they are naturally made. It is not a thing made in the factory or in the laboratory. So removing the minerals which are made by the nature, so this activity is also, this occupation is also a primary occupation. Okay, with this knowledge we move to the next type of occupation, secondary occupation. Now some products obtained in the primary occupation are used directly, while some products you have to make certain changes, you have to do certain processes on it, and you have to change into certain other product, and then it can be used. For example, in figures E, we have seen that milk was processed, okay, and certain milk products were made out of that. So in the figure E, we have seen that milk is processed after being brought to the dairy, and the products are with the product which was obtained from nature will be made into different products, okay, which we call as dairy product, which we call as milk product, like cheese, butter, shrikhand, ghee, etc. Okay, so these products which are processed becomes more durable, their quality also enhances, and their price also becomes higher. For example, the shrikhand, butter, cheese, milk powder, these are all processed from milk. Okay, so the activity involves processing. So in secondary occupation, the original product that we have obtained from primary occupation are transformed into a finished product. Here you are taking the raw material you are obtaining from the primary occupation, and in the secondary occupation, by processing it, you are converting it into a finished good. For example, cotton, which we obtained from the agricultural activity, which is a primary occupation, is changed into yarn or maybe a cloth. Okay, so processing is done, some activity is done on this cotton, and it is converted, it is transformed into cloth. So in secondary occupation, the value of the goods increases. That means cotton was much cheaper, but the cloth, which is the final product obtained from the textile industry, the price of it has increased, quality of it has enhanced, it has become more durable, and it has become more usable now. Processing and manufacturing activity are undertaken in the secondary occupation. Example of secondary occupation, construction. Here in the construction, you can see the material, raw material obtained from primary occupation are used, and the building or maybe the monument, the bridges, the roads are manufactured. Okay, so construction is a secondary occupation. Textile industry we have already seen, where cotton is converted into or is made into cloth. Okay, food processing industry. Okay, let us take an example of sauce making industry. Here, tomatoes which are obtained, tomato which is a raw material required in the food processing industry, that is making into sauce, they are converted finally into sauce. Some processing is done and it is packed in the bottle, and the final product is ready. So all these are example of secondary occupation. The secondary occupation depends for its raw material on the primary occupation. So after understanding what are secondary occupation, what are primary occupation, let us see the next type of occupation, tertiary occupation. Tertiary occupation. Now you know, tertiary occupation is also called as service based occupation. This occupation provides services to the other two occupations. Which are the other two occupations referred here? the primary and the secondary occupation. So in the tertiary occupation, services which are essential, required for primary and secondary occupations are provided. For example, transportation, loading, unloading, storing and warehousing, okay, sale of the goods, etc. is done in the tertiary occupation. So this is a complementary occupation to the other occupation. Other occupation depends upon the service occupation. Okay, the milk that you have produced, that you have collected, if it is not taken to the processing center, in the processing center you will not be able to convert it into milk products. So it was because of transportation that milk was brought to the processing center. It is because of the shops that the goods that are finally made are sold to the consumer. So sale of the goods, transportation of the goods, loading, unloading of the goods, storing of the good, warehousing of the good, these are all the services, and service is included in the tertiary occupation. Now in figure E, remember we have seen that the lady was doing some sort of testing, some sort of experiment on the milk, okay, and this testing to check the quality of the product, that person must have some extra skill, the person must be qualified, he must be having some knowledge about the work that they are engaged into. So the services which are not ordinary services, but which require special training, which require special expertise, which require the thorough knowledge of that subject, such services are called as quaternary occupation. Here are the examples of tertiary occupation: transportation, loading, unloading, sale of goods. Here now we are on quaternary occupation. So occupation which required special skill and expertise are called as quaternary occupation. For example, the doctor, when you fall ill, the doctor examines you, the doctor checks you, right? The doctor have got a special training, he have trained himself for long time. Again, he has got that special knowledge to treat a person, to cure a person. So services of the doctor are included in quaternary occupation. Now teacher teaches you, checks your paper, sets your exam paper, trains you. So the teacher have also undergone special training, special knowledge to become a professional. So that is also a quaternary occupation. The architect who designs your building, okay, they have also undergone special training, special skills they have obtained to become an architect. Now the engineer makes the machines, okay, and the machines are repaired by mechanics. So they are also specially trained in their work, in their profession that they do. So quaternary occupations are the occupations that are having that a person that requires special skill and expertise. Okay, so we have seen 4 types of occupation today: primary, secondary, tertiary and quaternary. Thank you, students.